Ho, ho, ho!
Hey, change of venue today. Our trusty flip cam has decided to.
You're using the wrong term. It was trusty.
Yes.
It was trusty to be working.
It was trusty until yesterday.
Now it's rusty.
Yeah. So
Untrusty.
We're here.
Speaking of untrusty.
Untrusty?
We're talking about untrustworthy, aren't we, kind of today?
Well, that was sort of what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about campaign finance reform, or how we end up with the best politicians money can buy.
Do you really think that? I mean, that appears a little bit cynical, doesn't it?
I believe that. I believe that until we figure out a way that it doesn't cost a ton of money to run for office, we're in trouble.
Well, if you ask Gary Leitzel, he would say that,
that problem's been solved.
Yeah, that's right.
Unfortunately, as the comedian said the other day, she would have voted for anybody as long as it wasn't Ryan and expletive deleted McLean on the ballot. She said she'd vote for Elmer, expletive deleted Fudd.
So you're saying there is still a problem in spite of this recent,
Well, we didn't even have a primary. I mean, people were afraid. She had money, she had the support, so why bother running? And that sort of ruins it. Anybody should be able to run for office, and we should have real choices.
Well, why should we have real choices since the people don't obviously want a real choice? They like to be...
That's part of the problem. We don't have an electorate that really understands what's going on. They talk about we live in a democracy. No, we live in a representative democracy. When you actually vote for somebody, you give up your power and give it over to someone like Mike Turner.
Yeah.
Oops.
Or Tony Hall.
Oops.
Who's supposedly voting in our interest. But they're voting,
in our interest, how much money do you give to congressional candidates?
Probably not much. They don't.
No. You look at the donors on the FEC database, and it reads like a corporate who's who.
So, do you think they get payback, or they're just altruistic?
I think there's payback. I think there's a quid pro quo, and until we get rid of that, we've got real problems.
Well, you can't ever figure out that there's a quid pro quo, but if you see it, I mean, if you look at it and you study it, I think there is. But we would come across as crazed people because nobody else, like the Dayton Daily News or WHIO TV, they don't look at those things. So the Fourth Estate, as we've talked about, is not doing its job.
It's not doing its job, but the voters, you people, you're not doing your job either.
Well... But most people would say...
Where did we stop with just Democrats or Republicans?
Well, here's what I do. I go back to the original Electoral College. There's too many things to focus on. And really, if you go back to the original Electoral College, the way the founders had it figured out, we would really vote for kind of two people. The governor, who appoints the two senators.
Right.
And our congressman. And then those two senators and the congressman would get together in a quorum and elect the president. So if you were unhappy with your two senators and your congressman and your president, you know how to take retribution pretty quickly. You would have enough, maybe attention span to understand the problem. So I think the founding fathers had it pretty much figured out, and they also kind of limited who would vote, i.e. those that might have a real estate, those that would actually take a vested interest in doing it. So I think they did figure out that the rabble will not educate themselves, and it can become a rabble, and that you will go ahead and be able to manipulate that rabble into getting the worst kind of government. And that's what we have. But the rabble doesn't even understand it.
No, we're still...
Because we're not rabble.
We're still sitting...
You're rabble.
We're still sitting there listening to people on talk radio talk about things that are totally irrelevant to what we need to do. We need to start saying anybody can run. We need to start saying third parties can be represented. In Ohio, you can't even have your party affiliation. If you're a Green or a Socialist, you can't have them show up on the ballot unless you had a dog in the race.
Go back the other way. That's too many people, too much money. Go back to the Democrat. Go back to the Electoral College. And really, you got to understand that your congressman was supposed to be out of there every 2 years. But Turner would always claim that he was not a career politician.
Yeah.
You can't make it up. So, really, we're getting the democracy, the rabble that we want, and the rabble that the rich want, if you really want it. I mean, not that I don't want to bash the rich. I love that they they give us this manna from heaven and all these wonderful jobs, right?
Ah, what wonderful jobs.
Oh, yeah. But, well, we kind of have the greatest concentration of wealth into a group of people.
Right.
And do we have more jobs because of that?
No.
Well, then something must
not
be
working.
wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, the
So-
same people that are making that analysis on who to vote for are also making the same analysis on the economy. So they've got us where they want us.
Yeah, and we're sitting there and taking it. And on that note,
Have a good day.
we'll see ya.
Merry Christmas.